Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chrisleys hopeful for Todd after Julie's conviction thrown out. The Chrisley family is hopeful for some good news after Julie Chrisley's conviction was thrown out. The family has been fighting to free Julie and Todd since they were convicted. They finally received some good news when they heard Julie was going to be going home. However, they are not done fighting for Todd Chrisley to be free as well. Keep reading to find out more. Julie Chrisley gets conviction thrown out. Julie Chrisley gets to go home. She has been in prison for a while. She received a 7-year prison sentence for tax evasion and fraud. Her husband, Todd Chrisley, received a 12-year sentence. However, Julie's conviction has been thrown out, and she is returning to her family. Julie is excited to go home to her children. She has had to miss out on a lot of big events that have taken place in her children's lives. Family is hopeful for more good news. Julie's conviction being thrown out gave the family hope. They are wishing for more good news to be headed their way. Savannah Chrisley has been advocating for her parents since they got convicted. She is not done fighting for her parents' freedom. Her mother will be home, but she is going to continue to fight for her father. This is only the beginning. It seems that this is only the beginning of the good news for the Chrisleys. Savannah is hoping to fight some more to get her dad home. However, they will at least now have one parent back in their lives. Unfortunately, Julie had to miss out on all of Grayson's senior year. However, she will be there to support him through college. Savannah has stepped up and is hoping there will be more good news coming their way. When the news broke that Julie Chrisley's conviction had been thrown out, the Chrisley family's world shifted. Not quietly, not gently, but with the full force of hope crashing through the despair that had gripped them for nearly 2 years. Savannah Chrisley was the first to speak publicly. Her voice trembled, not with fear, but with joy barely contained. "This is God's work," she told fans through a tear-filled Instagram live. Behind her, Nanny Faye was dabbing her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief, while Grayson smiled shyly from the corner of the screen. "Mama's coming home," Savannah whispered, as if the words were too sacred to shout. The court's decision sent shockwaves through their tight-knit circle. Julie Chrisley, once the calm and gentle anchor of the family's chaos, had finally been vindicated. An appeals court had determined that key pieces of evidence used to convict her were tainted, either improperly presented or flat-out lacking the integrity required for a fair trial. Her legal team had fought tirelessly, and now their work had borne fruit. Julie, still behind bars when the announcement came, had not cried. At least not in front of the guards. Instead, she closed her eyes, clasped her hands together, and whispered a prayer. Later, she would tell Savannah on a monitored phone call, "I never stopped believing that the truth would rise." But amid the celebration, a new question took hold in the Chrisley household. What does this mean for Todd? Todd Chrisley, ever the showman even behind bars, had already begun to stir things up in his own way. Inmates at his Pensacola facility claimed Todd strutted through the yard the day the ruling came down, calling out, "My Julie's walking free." One Chrisley down, one to go. Privately, he was more measured. "If they can throw hers out," he said to his lawyer in a recorded call, "they'll have to take a second look at mine. They used the same evidence. They painted us with the same brush." He didn't say it with arrogance, just hope, real hope. Legal analysts weighed in quickly. Todd Chrisley's case is now under a much brighter spotlight, said defense attorney Marla Denvers on Court Nation. If the core of Julie's conviction was deemed unstable, Todd's defense has a renewed opening. They'll likely file an emergency motion for review within the month. Back in Nashville, Savannah began to dream again. "I've been fighting this battle with both hands tied behind my back," she confessed in a podcast episode of Unlocked. But now, I'm ready to... Chloe, still too young to understand all the legal complexities, simply asked, "If Mimi's coming home, does that mean Papa's next?" That question hung heavy in the air for all of them. Behind closed doors, the family was already preparing. Nanny Faye had started redecorating Julie's side of the master bedroom. Grayson had compiled a playlist of all the country gospel songs Julie loved to hum while baking. And Savannah, she was dusting off their family brand. Already there were murmurs of a Chrisley comeback, talks of a docuseries chronicling Julie's return, and Todd's potential redemption. Networks were quietly circling. A few had never stopped watching. "America loves a comeback," said one unnamed producer. "And this one has all the makings of a mega hit: faith, family, scandal, justice. If Todd's conviction is reversed next, it'll be headline history." Still, not everyone in the public was on board. Social media remained divided. "She got lucky," some critics tweeted. "Doesn't mean they're innocent." But Chrisley loyalists were louder. #JusticeForTodd began trending within hours of Julie's news. Fans posted clips from the family's reality show, old quotes about honesty and perseverance that now felt prophetic. And Todd, though still confined, felt the momentum. In a handwritten letter released through his legal team, he wrote, "Julie's victory is not just hers. It's a signal to anyone wrongfully accused that the fight is never over until the truth comes out. I remain hopeful. I remain prayerful. And I remain proud of my family, who has never wavered." The letter ended with a note to Savannah. "You're my lion heart. Keep roaring." Inside that simple phrase was the weight of every sleepless night, every call that cut out too soon, every visit that ended with hugs through glass. As Julie prepared for her release, Savannah organized a small, intimate homecoming. No press, no cameras, just family. They planned to gather in the backyard under the string lights Julie had always adored, with Nanny Faye's famous peach cobbler warming in the oven and Chloe practicing a welcome back song. Yet the biggest celebration was still just out of reach. Todd's lawyers, emboldened by Julie's reversal, filed a 70-page motion 2 weeks later. It detailed the mirrored missteps of the prosecution, highlighted new evidence, and questioned the credibility of former business associates who had testified against both Julie and Todd. They called for his immediate release pending review. It was a long shot, but not an impossible one. And so the family waited again. But this time, the wait was different. It was charged with anticipation, not dread. It was filled with plans, not just prayers. Julie, now free, refused to waste time on bitterness. "I'm not going to talk about what I lost," she said in a soft interview with Today. "I'm going to talk about what I still have: my family, my faith, and a reason to believe that my husband will be next." In the end, it wasn't just a legal victory, it was a spiritual one. Because for the Chrisleys, hope wasn't a strategy, it was a lifeline. And after all they'd been through, they were finally beginning to breathe again, waiting for the day Todd Chrisley, too, would walk free.